How to create fillable forms in Microsoft Word. Hi everyone, I'm Jason, and I'm going to walk you through the easy steps it is to create a fillable form just like this one here using Microsoft Word. Let's go. Now, as you can see, the form I have in front of me is a client intake form. It's got a date field, a name field, some checkboxes, a drop-down field, as well as another drop-down field. I'll explain the difference between these two and a way to upload any kind of photo. This one here is going to be for a person's picture, and it's going to have a submit button. And this form could be used not only just for client intakes, it could be used for patients, it could be used for business clients, or even employee information. These fields could pretty much be used for anything you want them to be. They're transferable. You can always just change even the title of it, and that way you can keep the same questions or change them up a bit. All right, so let's get into how to actually build this. To start off, we're going to want our developer tab. I have mine already, and I'm going to show you how to do that. All you got to do is go to any blank area in the ribbon above. That's what this whole thing is called up here. It's called the ribbon. So this is a nice blank area down here. Just right click, go to customize ribbon. And then on the right hand side, you'll see the word developer. Yours will most likely be unchecked. All you got to do is check it and click OK. So now you should have the developer tab. And that's how we're going to add all of these fields. All right, we're developers. Let's start adding some fields. So now that we're developers, most forms usually have the date first. So that's what I have. And this is what a date field will look like. You could just click the button, the person filling out, and they'll select what date they want to put. It has a nice convenient today feature. You just click on that and it changes the date. Now, in order to add one, I'm going to go ahead and delete mine. Okay. So up here, you'll see a little calendar button looking thing. Most of the buttons we're going to add, or actually all the buttons we're going to add, are in this little box here in the controls area. So we click this, we put our cursor where we want the calendar, click the calendar control, and there you go. There is the field. Now, if you want to change the size of it, you can do that. So I have mine at 26. I think that's nice and big for anybody filling it out. As you can see, it increased the size. And now somebody can pick any date they want. And there you go. Now, an important thing is if you're eventually going to connect this to a database, you want to have these fields named. So in order to do that, there's these three little ellipses here. You click on that. We'll go up to developer. And now this properties button is no longer grayed out. So you click properties, and we could change the title to date. So whenever you have a database you're going to export this to, that's going to be the name of the column or the field. You can also change the color, and you can do all these other things, especially for calendars. You can change the format. I like the way everything is, so I'm going to leave it just the way it is. Next up is we're going to want, obviously, the most important thing probably after the date would be a person's name, if that's the type of form we're doing. So this is just a normal text box. As you can see, I already have it titled as name. So I'm going to delete mine. We're going to go back up to the top, and we have two options. We have rich text and plain text. For databases, I think 99% of the time, or maybe 100% of the time, want plain text. So I'm clicking that one. And we're going to go immediately to properties to check them out. And we're going to name it name. So you have different types of boxes you can do. You can change the color again and all these other things. If you want to make it like a description box, you can use this checkbox here. And that'll make it when somebody presses the enter key, it's multiple lines. That's good for an address or something like that. Mine, I don't want that. So I'm just going to do what we have. And I'm going to go back up. And again, I like 26. I think it's nice and readable for anybody. And there we go. Next up are checkboxes. That's what these guys are here. And just like the other ones, it has a name. I have it as illness and font for if it's going to get connected to a database. Those are going to be the names. So I'm going to click on it and then delete. Again, to add one, we just go up to developer, and this time we click the checkbox and go to properties and name it whatever it is. Mine's going to be illness. And just like the other ones, you can change the look of it. For checkboxes, you can change what kind of check mark you want. I like the X, it's cool with me, so I'm going with that one. And there we go. These are pretty easy, right? It's not that complicated. Let's move on now to the next one here. This will be a dropdown. And as I explained, there's two different kinds. I have this one where it has type your own answer. That means they could erase this and put whatever they want, okay? This insurance provider here doesn't have that option. This one, you only get a list of two, okay? In order to create this one, where they could type, they have a choice between our options or their own, that would be combo box content control. So let me delete this, and we go to combo box complete content control. That's this one. And we go to properties. Title over again, call it as doctor. And this is how you add all the options. So we can have Dr. Vinny, Dr. Bateman, and those are the two. But as you notice, there's nothing that indicates they could type their own. So if I click this one, I could always just highlight it and put whatever I want, right? So as you can see, I was able to type a brand new name and it kept it. I highly recommend, if you're going to go this route, is you go to properties and you add one that says erase and type in your own. This way somebody could select that and say Dr. Nick. Okay. For the insurance provider, as I showed, they have two options, and we want them to only stick with that one, or those two. So I'm going to delete it, and that's going to be this one here, which is called drop-down list. Properties, and that's how I could add the two. So first we're going to name it, so insurance, and option 1 and option 2. Okay. As you see, if I select option 1, I can't delete it. I'm pressing the delete button, but it's not doing anything. The second last item is adding a photo. This here is just this little mountain with a sun. You just click that one, and it adds the picture content control. You go to properties and name it picture. And there's not really many options here, but you could select whatever you want. As you see, there's really no color change because it's a upload. So when somebody clicks on it, they have an option to choose how they want to add a photo. Last up is the submit button. When somebody clicks this one, it opens up Microsoft Outlook, and it pre-fills an email address. So usually you want the email to be sent to you. So that's where you would put your email address. The subject line can be changed. The body can be changed, and this is the form. So I'm going to show you how to set all this up so you can have these by default say whatever it is you want them to say. So all customers have to do is click submit and then click send. Nice and easy for them, or whoever's filling out the form. All right, so in order to do that, I want a blank area. That's where I'm going to start. We're going to go up to this thing with a little wrench and toolbox looking thing. We want, it's hard to read, but it says Command Button ActiveX Control. Okay, so here's their button, and it's already selected, so we just click Properties. And the background color, that's right now it's white. You can change it to different colors you want. So here's the palette. So we'll do a light blue. And the caption, this is the text that, so most of the time I think you just want to submit. You could change the font color. I like black. And for the name, I always like changing the name to stuff, so you can do a submit button. That's more back-end stuff, like for databases and stuff like that. You could also make it a picture if you want. I like just doing what I have, so I'm going to keep everything the way it is. And let's move on now to the actual email part. For the code, you right-click on it, click View Code, and here's all the code I already have filled out. These are the 3 items you're going to want to change when you're doing yours. I have all this code down in the description, so you guys could just copy and paste it. Made it nice and easy for you. I'll show you what it looks like when it's empty. So this is what it looks like. When you create your button, you just put your cursor here and you paste the code from my description area, and then you're good to go. You just exit, and then you have your button all ready to go. You also may notice there's all these weird tags next to all these things. That's because I'm in the design mode. When you click that, it goes back to a normal form that's what people use to fill out. With our form all done, the next step is to make sure nobody can change this and we don't have the same information showing for the next person that the previous person filled out. So all we gotta do is lock down our form so employees also can't mess with it. Up at the top, all you gotta do is click Restrict Editing. And we're gonna click number 2, allow only this page of editing in the document. We want filling in forms. Now there's this enforcement part. We want to do, yes, start enforcing protection. It's asking if you want a password. You don't really need a password. So just click OK. Now there's no password. Adding the password just means you have to remember it, right? We got enough passwords to remember. So as you can see, we now have a final form and people can fill it out, but people can't modify it like before. These are all grayed out. So the next important thing is to save it, right? You always want to save. I probably should have saved midway through doing this, but I'm just giving you guys a tutorial. So, oh well. But when you're doing anything in Word, Excel, etc., always remember to save, right? Go to File, Save As, and for save location, you can put it wherever you want to put it. The most important thing is this is the name of your form, and I recommend naming it something that's obvious. Now, I wrote the word macro in there just because I'm doing the tutorial. You don't have to do something like that. So you don't need the word macro in there, but you do want Word macro enabled document for your save as type. The reason why is we put that code in there for the submit button. If you don't have a submit button, you can just save this as a Microsoft Word document. But once you have that code in there, you need it to be macro enabled and you hit save. And that's it. It's all saved. A cool little trick I want to show you guys is we're going to exit out of here. So here's the form, and we're going to change it to large icon. This one here, the exclamation mark, that's the macro enabled. And this one here is the regular Word document. It doesn't matter which one you use. For Word documents, Excel, etc., PowerPoint, any form, any document you don't want somebody messing with, even yourself, you want to have a new one created every time somebody modifies it and saves, you can just right-click on it, go to Properties and click Read Only. Click OK. Now, anytime somebody opens this up and they try to modify it, they'll go to Save. Want to try to overwrite it? It says you can't do that. This is read only, bud. So they have to make a whole new name for it. And then once they change the name, so I'm not going to overwrite the current one, they can save. So now we have the original one that's read only, and then this one. This one is not read only, so that somebody could open this up and do whatever they want to it and change it. So that's how to create a fillable form in Word. And the best thing to do is actually create these in PDFs. So this video here will show you how to convert any Word document into a PDF. All right, guys, appreciate you watching. Best of luck.